Co-main event time, and we are going down to the UFC Strawweight division, the first of 2 title rematches taking place on this card. And we're going back to UFC 261, Rose Namajunas making the first defense of her second reign as UFC Strawweight champion. And she's starting off this second reign the same way she did her first one. She's going to be taking on the former champion in a rematch. In this case, it's China's Zhang Weili. So I'm going to go back to something you said at UFC 265 when the rumours about Rose versus Weili rematching came up. Now, this is your words quote for quote. If they give the next title shot to Zhang, we need to riot. We need to go to the UFC headquarters with Carla Esparza t-shirts saying you fucked up. First questions first, John. Did you buy those plane tickets and did you buy the t-shirts?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're booked and ready to go. We will be protesting all week. I'm leaving right after the podcast and hopping on the plane. I've actually got a Carla Esparza tattoo across my chest, honestly. But yeah, our hearts are heavy on the INC Live podcast right now. Our girl Carla Esparza did get screwed. Just finished Yan Shannon. I think Yan was undefeated in the UFC, 5-fight win streak. Carla dominates her, mauls her, finishes her. Seems clear cut that she's going to be the next in line for the title. Rose and Esparza fought way back in 2014 or something like that. It would be a great story, but the UFC doesn't give us what we want. They go with the analytics. They say that Zhang has more fans, that she's getting more attention, so they're going with Zhang in the rematch. But I hate it. I think it's stupid. I understand the Joanna rematch back in the day when Joanna was a 7-1 favorite, had defended her belt 5 or 6 times, and gets knocked out in round 1. Okay, I understand the immediate rematch, but Zhang, who had won one title defense, which was a dodgy split decision that she honestly lost, if we're being honest, and for her to get head kicked in 70 seconds. I mean, every time I watch that fight, I'm amazed about how soon it was into the fight. 70 seconds, and they're giving her another chance. I mean, when you get knocked out in 70 seconds, I think that you need to prove yourself a little bit more before you get an immediate title shot. I mean, this is silly.
I have to be honest, I've been slightly enamored by the fan reaction to sort of Carla, because you see a lot of the posts promoting Weili versus Rose 2. You're getting a lot of people saying it should have been Carla, that sort of thing. It sort of reminds me a little bit of when Damian Maia got the title shot in 2017. A lot of people admit, yeah, I don't really like his fighting style. I think he's a bit boring. But 7-fight winning streak, he deserves it. And in my opinion, Karl is getting that same sort of treatment. Yes, people might find him a little bit dull, a little bit boring, but they're recognizing, hey, this person deserves it.
I mean, it's the same scenario as the main event. Leon Edwards, I believe, is 8 or 9 fight win streak. Came off the Nate Diaz fight. You thought that would be the perfect opportunity to high roll Edwards into the title shot. He got some exposure. He got the win over Nate Diaz in pretty dominant fashion outside of one moment. And they just don't really follow up on that. I don't get it. They don't know how to build momentum. I don't. I mean, Colby fought. Now we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in 10 minutes. But we'll talk about we'll keep it to Zhang Rose for now. My prediction the first time, I was picking Rose the first time. I thought that she was going to win rounds 1 and 2. She's a fast starter. She comes out with that dynamic offense, especially her good boxing. I thought she was going to win the first 2 rounds, maybe slow down a bit in round 3 and 4. And then I thought she was going to come back to win one of the later rounds, round 4, round 5, and win a close decision, kind of like how the fight exactly played out against Joanna the second time. But, Rose didn't even need that much time. She head kicked her in 70 seconds. Pretty much the first meaningful strike of the fight that landed, like you mentioned. And I just think that really, obviously, besides the obvious, that Rose won the fight. I think that really proved a lot of good things for Rose going forward. One of Zhang's best qualities was her durability. She had taken, huge shots throughout her career, especially in the Joanna fight, just showed elite durability and cardio there. And then that durability was kind of, that facade of that elite durability, that juggernaut type of thing that Zhang had going, that was all erased by one head kick from Rose. And, you know, Rose didn't even get to start throwing hands. She didn't even get to start using her boxing. So who knows how those striking exchanges would have gone. I think that those would have favored Rose too. So I'm still favoring Rose going into this matchup, honestly.
It's hard to do. Obviously, the fight only lasted just over a minute, but is there anything that we can see from the first fight that gives us an indicator how this one might go?
One thing is what Zhang was trying to do is she was thinking that the inside leg kick was coming from Rose, and she tried moving her leg back as if the leg kick was coming, but it was actually coming up to the head, and she got decapitated there by Rose in round one. I don't think there was enough in that sample size to really predict what's going to happen in this one. Um, like I said, we didn't even really get to see them land any punches. It was still a feeling out process, and the fight ended, pretty abruptly. So I'm not, uber confident in Rose. I'm not, saying she's a lock in this fight at all, but she is the slight underdog right now. Different books have her at different lines. Bet Online, the most reputable one, does have her as a slight underdog right now. But the odds in the first fight were Zhang minus 200, minus 215, which is about 65%. And now she's all the way down to 51, 52%. So big change in the odds there.
One of the things that a lot of people are anticipating, based on the fact that Weili is now training with Henry Cejudo, is a lot of people are reading into that and thinking that Weili's going to try and utilize more of a wrestling game. Do you think that's maybe
goodness. Hell no. I mean, what can Henry Cejudo really teach Weili Zhang? I mean, I know that they're both good fighters. I just don't think that Cejudo is really capable of teaching that much and having that much of an influence. Um, I mean, Zhang does have some decent trip takedowns. She gets the fight into the clinch, can hit some takedowns from there. I think she hit some on Tisha Torres, if I'm correct. But I don't think she has greatly wrestling fundamentals. She kind of just uses her strength to trip opponents down to the canvas. But I don't think that's going to be an issue for Rose here. Yeah, so I don't think wrestling is going to come into play.
And if it does go to the ground as well, a lot of people forget Rose is a very good submission expert.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, good off her back, good on top. She mauled I think Watterson and maybe even Van Zant back in the day on the top. So yeah, don't forget that Rose is skilled everywhere, and it's really hard to say too much more about this fight just because we had all those feelings coming into the first fight, and then they were all cut short in just 70 seconds. And I'm picking Rose again to win here. I'm not sure how she's gonna do it. I'm not sure if it's gonna be another finish or if it's gonna be a decision this time. I definitely think the fight's gonna last longer than it did the first time. Um, and I hope Rose's cardio holds up. She had a little bit of trouble in round 3 versus Andrade, but was still able to win that fight. And I think that win is aging well. I mean, she outboxed Andrade for the first 2 rounds. She won a 29-28 decision there pretty comfortably. And I think that she's gonna have all this confidence going into this fight. She's the champion again. She's got that belief in herself, and I just think her confidence and she's gonna be in all-time great shape. And I'm picking Rose to get it done. Not sure about the outcome. Whether it's gonna be, I'll go decision just because that seems likely. It's a women's fight. I'll go Rose decision. What about you?
Have you maybe been a bit concerned by the way that Weili reacted to the loss?
Honestly, I didn't pay that much attention to it. What did she say?
A lot of it was implying that she thought that she was basically implying that Rose sort of riled up the crowd and she got the crowd on her side and she was a bit put off by the boos and...
Yeah, I mean, this is the fight game, sweetheart. You can't be, claiming you lost because the fans were booing you. I don't buy into that. I also don't buy that like Zhang actually said that. I feel like that was probably like a lost in translation type of thing, or her coach said it. Like Zhang doesn't strike me as the type of a woman to complain like that. She probably said, "Oh, I just got caught. I'll do better next time."
In terms of my own personal perspective, I think we're going to get something very similar to Rose versus Joanna too. I think that Weili is going to close up a lot of the mistakes that she made in the first fight. I can see it being a much sort of dirtier, grittier fight. Weili obviously being a lot more competitive. I can see her finding most of her success in the middle round. But Rose does have Trevor Whitman on the side. She's very good at sort of reading how the fight game goes, and I see her getting the unanimous decision. So I think it's going to be, whether it's 4-1 or 3-2, I'm not entirely sure, but I am going for Rose to win this one.
I like that. I like the pick. I like the comparison. Yeah, that she finished Joanna the first time. The second fight was much closer, extremely competitive, but Rose still proved that she was better, and I think that's what will happen here. And then real quick in terms of bets, I feel like if you want to bet Zhang here, you might as well just wait until round one, until round two. I think that Rose will start fast again. She will get off to an early lead. Maybe Zhang is able to come back and make the fight close with her durability, her cardio, but I don't think that Zhang is going to start having real success until like 7 to 10 minutes in. So betting wise, this one, Rose is the pre-fight side and look to live bet Zhang if she's doing all right.